Coach Dabo, welcome into the Morning Blitz. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, Martin. Good to hear from you, man. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing extremely well, and really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this morning. Coach, as we look at this college football playoffs, there's a couple teams that's been back at least twice, and you're one of those, sitting at number 2. Kind of tell me, as a coach, what was your biggest challenge after last year, coming so close, being able to I've been where you're at, so being able to taste it and know that there's a couple things that you could do different and possibly get away with that win. What was your biggest challenge motivating these young men to come back and put together another great season for the Clemson Tigers?
Well, the biggest challenge was, flying back from Arizona, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just knowing, when it's fresh on your mind, how close you were to being the champ. Comes down to a few plays, and we certainly were in position to win the game, and we didn't make a few of the plays that could have won it, and Alabama did, and that's how you win those games. Simple as that. But as far as the challenge and motivating, it really wasn't a challenge at all. These guys have been locked in from day one. This has been an incredibly well-led team from our seniors and our juniors. We don't have a lot of seniors and juniors. We're a really young team. A lot of people don't know that. We've only got 22 seniors and juniors on scholarship, and you get 85 scholarships. So we're mostly a freshman and sophomore team. We've got a big sophomore group, but those juniors and seniors that we do have are incredibly committed and impactful people. And from day one, they were locked in when we got back and kind of had our first team meeting. And it's a new team; those seniors are gone and it's like, hey, we know we've been there. We know how close we were. And, it starts now. You don't wait till next November. It starts right now, and I think our guys understood that. So it wasn't a huge challenge, to be honest with you. They were motivated from right out of the gate.
That is awesome. Speaking with Coach Dabo Swinney of the number 2 ranked Clemson Tigers, Coach, you talked about one of those special seniors, but before I get into that, and I'll ask it kind of a combo question, talking about your quarterback Deshaun Watson, Coach. What you talked about, we hear a lot here in Tuscaloosa, the process, which works. And all great coaches have some semblance of process, or what I call culture. How much of that comes from the different coaches and the different influences you've had in terms of building that winning culture mindset that you just described in terms of your players getting right back to business?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at any great program, and I'm not talking about a great team. Right. People can have a great team from time to time, but I'm talking about a great program, a very consistent program. And, there's only 2 teams out there that have had 6 10-plus win seasons in a row, and that's us and Alabama. And, and there's other programs that have been very consistent. But in any sport, whatever, I think there's always a culture that drives that. First and foremost, but secondly, there's a clearly defined, well-articulated philosophy and vision in place that is that everybody understands, everybody is on the same page with, and everybody has bought into. That's the only way that you can maintain any type of great consistency. Because to be great at anything, you have to be incredibly consistent for a long period of time. And, so I think all of us that are coaches are shaped by our past experiences, things that we've learned along the way. And it's not just in sports. It's in business. It's in anything. It's in churches. It's whatever. We're all shaped by our experiences, whether they were good or bad. Right. Sometimes you learn more from the bad than you do the good. And and then at the end of the day, you have to do it. In my opinion, you got to be who you are. That's where people make mistakes. Is they go and study somebody and they say, okay, well, I'm going to do it just this way. Well, but that might not fit who you are. And I think at the end of the day, you have to be true to yourself and do things the way you believe, and surround yourself with people who buy into that. And if you do that, you've got a chance to be successful. And we certainly have a great culture here. That's what drives everything. That's something that we focus on. A lot of places don't focus on the culture of the program. They focus on the results. They focus on the next recruit and all that type of stuff. And, for me, and you're right, there is a process in place at everywhere. But to me, it's about the people, and that's what I focus on.
And one of those people, Coach, is your quarterback, which, in my opinion, he may not be the most electric player in the country, but I think he's the best quarterback in the country. And he's shown his resilience, his toughness from his freshman coming back from injury. What is it about Deshaun Watson, other than the fact that he may be one of the most accurate passers I've ever seen and smartest players I've seen, but what is it about him that makes him special and elevates the play of the Clemson Tigers?
Yeah, well, you said it there. I mean, he is incredibly, smart. I mean, his football IQ is just off the charts. But it's his poise. He has all the measurables and all the stuff that you'd like. But it's his poise. It's his demeanor. It's his humility. It's his character and integrity. His leadership ability. His overall commitment. It's his will to prepare. It is off the charts. I've never been around a guy that prepares like Deshaun. And I mean, loves it. I mean, absolutely loves it. I mean, he's going to be such a great pro because he's already a pro.
Right.
He works every day like a pro. That transition is going to be very easy for him because of how he goes about his business every day. And he's just incredibly driven. I mean, you're talking about a young man that's graduating tomorrow in 3 years. 3 years.
Wow.
You and I have been in college, and he graduated in 3 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he's the starting quarterback, and he took 20 hours this summer. That's how motivated and driven he is to being excellent in everything that he does. So it just transcends in every area of his life. He is a person of excellence that just happens to be a pretty good quarterback too.
As Coach Dabo Swinney of the number 2 ranked Clemson Tigers. Coach, you got a big game coming up, semifinals, and no, you don't look ahead. So kind of tell me, when you look at this Ohio State team and preparing for this game, what do you see going into this game as far as your Tigers versus the Buckeyes, and what did you learn from last year to help you prepare for this game?
Yeah, well, I think, last year's experience, we really don't treat this game any different than we have our past bowl games, to be honest with you, because it's really the same. We're playing on the 31st. We're very familiar with as far as the schedule. I think it's important that you are smart with how you prepare. We try to take this time to get back to some of the fundamentals and techniques and drills that you don't get as much time during a normal game week. We work on Clemson, a lot of Clemson on Clemson. Obviously, we'll have a lot of game prep versus Ohio State, but then we take this time to develop our young team as well. We'll have a lot of JV practices, and we'll start to build a good foundation for a lot of these young guys for spring ball. So we have a good plan in place that we believe in. Our guys, fortunately, we do have good experience as far as past experience to draw on, and I think that helps. Sure, these guys know how to get themselves ready for these type of games. These veteran leaders that we've had, we've won 4 bowl games in a row. We've beaten Ohio State and LSU and Oklahoma twice, and so they understand the prep and they buy into that. They trust our preparation. So that part is the same. The biggest change is from last year was, I've never had another game after a bowl game.
Right.
So that was a little bit of a learning experience for us, and will help us if we're fortunate enough to get there. But you turn on the tape, you really don't learn anything. I mean, you study, okay, what their tendencies are and things like that, but you know what you're going to see before you turn the tape on. You're going to see a team that's very good in the trenches. You're going to see speed, athleticism, great quarterback play all over the film, because that's why they're in the Final Four. And this is I think they're 4th in the nation in defense. I mean, all 4 of these Final Four teams are top 10 in defense. All 4 are very good on offense. So just complete football teams. So this comes down to, winning in the trenches, doing the little things. And that's what cost us last year. It came down to the little things. We busted a couple coverages. We gave up a kickoff return. We had some little things. We fumbled it. We had a lead in the fourth quarter against Alabama with first down on the 40 going in, and we fumbled the exchange between the back and quarterback. So it comes down to little things, executing at a high level, and players making plays. It's just that simple. Your best players have to play well if you're going to win games like this. And the only way you're going to play well is you got to prepare well. So, you're not just competing on December 31st. You're competing today at practice. You're competing in the meeting rooms. You're competing in the dining hall. You're competing with your sleep. You're competing every single day because it all matters. You're looking for every edge you can get in a game like this.
One last question for Coach Dabo Swinney of the Clemson Tigers. Hey, Coach, my son Xavier's here, and he had a question for you. So,
what's up, X-Man?
What's up, Coach? How you been?
How you doing?
Doing
good.
Oh,
my God, you sound just like your daddy. Hey, you and I used to have breakfast every Thursday morning.
Yes,
7
sir.
a.m., Brian Hall.
Yes, sir.
Martin, get you up out of bed and drag you in there with all of us.
My one question is, who's been the biggest influence on you as a coach? Just the way you prepare, the way you go get your team ready.
Yeah, well, I really, truly have learned from a little bit of everybody. I've been fortunate. I was at Alabama for 13 years and learned from Coach Curry's staff. Obviously spent all 7 years with Coach Stallings, so he's been my greatest mentor. That was a great experience for me. I didn't even know what I was learning until he was gone. And I had some time with Homer Smith. I was his GA for a couple years there. Spent a lot of time with Mal Moore. Come to Clemson. I've been here. This is my 14th season at Clemson. I've been around some great people here. Tommy Bowden was a good influence on me. His father, Bobby Bowden, has been a great influence on me. I learned a lot from him as well over the years, and then all the assistants that I have been around over the years. I've tried to learn from everyone, and then I've studied. I've met with the Mac Browns, the Urban Meyers, you name it, all throughout the years, and you learn from everyone. I've learned from just fans. I've learned from my kids. Believe it or not, I learned something from my wife time to time. She'll as we all do, but and I think all of those things you try to apply to your daily life and get better. But Coach Stallings for sure has been my greatest mentor, and then Woody McCorvey was my position coach at Alabama for 3 years, and is really my right-hand man to this day. He's been an incredible influence on me as well.
All right, that is Coach Dabo Swinney. Thanks, Coach, so much for getting up and with that at it with us this morning. Congratulations on those back-to-back ACC championships and back-to-back trips to the college football playoffs. We will be talking with you, I'm sure, as we move throughout. Thanks, and have a blessed day.
All right, Hugh Daddy. You have a good one, man.
All right.
See ya.